evening, everybody, and welcome to the Abruzzi ANZCAR Cup, here for the final round of the chase. Yes, it is the grand final night and the last race of our regular season for the Cup Series. We have three contenders coming into tonight's race, and those are Hamish Gallagher, Jason Martin, and the points leader at the moment, Edward Foster. It's going to be a shootout between all three of them, and they're all within a chance to get the championship tonight. Joining me up here in the booth tonight is JP. How are you going, JP?
Carl, I'm doing really well, thanks. Yeah, another exciting night of Cup car racing. This should be a really good one tonight. Ed Foster's going to be racing for the win. You don't need to guess who I'm going to be going for. So yeah, it should be really exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one tonight. Joshua Carroll-Walden, they're just going fastest in qualifying. Jason Hartigan coming up behind him, and then Edward Foster in third. That's not a bad-looking leaderboard for you there, JP. It's going to be a race tonight where Jason Martin has to really... It's going to be an uphill battle for Jason Martin and Hamish Gallagher, really. They've got to win this one to get a chance, with Foster really having a very poor night. That's the... situation that they're in, but they're in with that chance, and that's the thing. You do have those little chances in red pot.
Sorry, Carl, I don't know whether Jason Martin was on his second lap, but he just clipped the wall there, and that's all she said.
Yeah, Jason Martin, they're just on his second lap, I think. So that was his that was going to be his faster lap, I think, and he's just clonked it into the wall. That's put him in P7, a little bit further down the field than we're used to with Jason Martin, as his teammate Josh Micklemore in the Mitch Motorsport car pops up in first place. Danny G sitting in 8th at the moment, and I think that's going to be his starting point tonight. He's been coming off a really good run of races, Danny G, so look for him tonight as well. He could be in for a good shout.
It's anyone's race tonight, really. I mean, Ed Foster is coming off the back of some really good rounds. Unfortunately, Jason Martin hasn't had has had a bit of bad luck going through the last couple of rounds, but it's still anyone's race for tonight. The championship, yeah. Look, Jason Martin and Hamish Gallagher are going to have to win this. And Ed's going to have to be absolutely nowhere if they're in with a chance, but I really don't know what the point score is and if they are going to have a chance of taking it out.
Yeah, it's very close to being to the point where they mathematically, I think, are still in it. Just watching Riley Curtis myself as he comes around, he's looking for a good result tonight. Riley Curtis finished the season off strong, I think. He's had a really good success in the trucks this season as he loses the back end there as he goes round for his fast lap, and he's lost it, unfortunately. But Riley Curtis wanting to get a good result here tonight, good finish to his season. And I imagine there's going to be a few of those drivers out there tonight who want to cap off 2020 with a decent result. People like Jason Hartigan, Michael Skurlock, of course. He wants to get that. He wants to get another win under his belt. You've got the up-and-comers like Joshua Carroll-Walden, Hamish Gallagher, who is in with a chance of the championship, as we say. Michael Schroeder. These guys are coming up. Brad Allison, of course. You know, these guys having sort of their first couple of seasons, and they're really starting to bring it to the top. We're seeing a much more competitive field than we have done in many years for the Cup.
Yeah, 100%. These guys are, you know, it might be over and out for the major placings, but these guys are going to give it their absolute best tonight. And you know, the last round they're going to be wanting to win this one.
Yeah. You finish off a season with a high is always a good thing to have. It's still not over in the lower parts of the chase, though. It's very, very tight between Brad Allison, Norman Clark, Stephen Williams, and Matt Hunter. Those guys are all very close to each other. So those guys are going to be trying their best to get a good finish tonight, try and get themselves a bit further up in the final standings for this season. Bit of an odd one to have 11 cars in the chase, of course, but we had a joint 10th place with Bradley Allison and Matt Hunter, of course. As the cars are going to start to grid up, we'll go through the starting order for tonight's race. So up on the first row, we've got Josh Micklemore and Joshua Carroll-Walden. Second row is Jason Hartigan, Edward Foster. Third is Michael Skurlock, Stephen Williams. Fourth is Jason Martin and Danny G. Fifth, Hamish Gallagher and Lachlan Urquio. Sixth is Michael Schroeder and Tristan Koch. 7th, Mirko Dortnack and James Robbie. 8th, Norman Clark and Brad Allison. 9th is Riley Curtis and Phil Otto. 10th is Nigel Patton with Jacob Maloney. 11th, Raymond Yeager, Adam Rosell. And on back row number on the back row is Matt Hunter and Aidan Schultz tonight. So it's going to be a race where you want to finish off strong. You're going to want to get some good points under your belt and just prove yourself for next season. That's the big thing now. If you can come off a win here tonight, come off with a good result, it's going to be a good jumping point for you for next season.
100%, Carl. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys want bragging rights to every race, and this one's not going to be any different to any other race. They are going to want to win it.
Yeah, as a racer, you always want to win. That's the thing. It's fine if you don't. Sometimes you go, yeah, that was a good result, but it's much sweeter if you can get that victory under your belt, of course. And this season being, well, a bit of a long one, really. It's we're on round 36 now of this year's season, which is an incredibly long year. But it's come so close at the end, as always. You know, it's been an excellent year for many of the drivers out there, and we've seen so many new talents rising up to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great year, and it's been great to see the racing. It hasn't really given us the same kind of racing that we've had last year. Last year it was always the same people up the top. Towards the end of this series, it's been that way, but there have been some surprise winners during this year's race.
Yeah, there's been a list of winners this season, which is great to see. And as I say, many new faces to the top of that podium, which is one thing that we love to see here in the Abruzzi Cup. So Pace Car is coming around here at Phoenix Motor Speedway, and it's going to be a tricky one tonight. The track isn't that grippy. There could be a little bit of a loose end as the go green for the final race of the ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup season, and Josh Micklemore dumps it at the start, gets a good lead.
Gets an absolute blinder at the start, and he's cleared a nice little gap between, away from the JP6 guys. They've all gone in line astern now. Ed Foster's just a little bit behind Jason Hardigan and JCW, and they're going to start making their way up towards Josh Micklemore pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're going to want to try and settle in. One thing the drivers were complaining about having a bit of trouble warming the tyres up tonight. There's a bit of issue with the tyre getting actually to temperature, and they have been struggling a little bit. It's quite cool out there tonight. Track temperature is only 30 degrees. So we're going to see some decent tyre life out there tonight. Field-wise, they pretty much go on one stop here tonight. So imagine we're going to see people trying to keep it out as long as they can. Just go on fuel, keep it out there as long as you possibly can, and then come in, get that fuel, get to the end of the race, of course. But Josh Micklemore has got a decent lead at the moment. Jason W and Jason Hartigan are both trying to chase him down. Foster's just sitting there in 4th place, keeping up with them, but we're not getting too much pressure from behind, and that's Michael Skurlock and Jason Martin behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Ed Foster knows that he doesn't need to do anything silly. I mean, he will be most likely wanting to win this one, but he just has to finish this race, and the championship is his.
Yeah, that's it. Just up at the front, we just saw Josh Micklemore there, just getting a little bit tail happy coming out of the corner, and this has given the guys behind him, Jason Gippy and Jason Harkin, a bit of a run towards him. That car just got a little bit loose there.
Yeah, you can see they've closed the gap down a little bit to Josh Micklemore, but
a car going round in the background. Sorry. He's managed to keep it in the actual, keep it going. Just trying to work out who that is, because there's a different livery than normal. Michael Schroeder there, getting the car caught up, and there is a caution.
And it looks like we've had an incident with Stephen Williams as well.
So we'll try and jump back to that. Stephen Williams got quite a lot of damage on the front of his car. He's just lost the rear end and gone down, and much harder impact there. He's sort of managed to keep it. Did he get the impact when he went into the corner? He did, yeah. So he's gone into, he's actually got the impact a little bit earlier on in the race, in fact. He's just got a bit of impact there, and he's lost the rear end coming through that corner. So just a bit of damage there to Stephen Williams, and that's a big name getting out there. Stephen Williams is very good on these short tracks. Be interesting to see what he does from here, because he might be able to come back at this race. He's going to jump into the pit lane, no doubt, get some repairs done, but expect to see him coming back up the field a little bit later on.
Yeah, and look at this. While all of this has been going on, Jason Martin's made up 2 places, and he's sitting right behind Ed Foster. And this seems to be a bit of a pattern towards the second half of this season. It's either Jason Martin behind Ed Foster or Ed Foster behind Jason Martin.
Yeah, those two have really been having a great battle towards the end of this season, and I think Ed Foster's actually been surprised by it himself. He sort of very much counting himself out and was pretty much settled with just getting into the chase and getting a decent position. He's found himself up there and fighting somebody like Jason Martin. If you can beat Jason Martin, you're doing very well. If Foster manages to, say, win this race, they'll be equal on wins tonight. But Jason Martin does have those 6 wins from the season, the most of anyone out there, which is, just speaks so much for Jason Martin. He's been very consistent all year, but not for best luck at the start of the season, and then coming into the chase, it's again been some poor luck for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's had a couple of dud rounds there towards the end of the season, which has really hurt him. And while that's happened, Ed Foster's been able to streak away and get a few wins under his belt and a couple of podiums as well. So, and that's helped him.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's been such a strong close to the season for Foster. Him getting pretty much all 5 of those wins towards the latter part of the year. He managed to take out the 87 championship and did a great job in that. And it seems the momentum from that really has given him the confidence and swung in the right direction for him. Car seems to be working well for him as well. But yeah, he's had a very good, strong close to the season for sure. As we get back, cars are side by side. The pace car will be going in very shortly, and we'll be looking to go back to green flag racing. Josh Mickelmore will lead them away again. Just imagine he's going to wait a few seconds this time and then dump the accelerator. He's just giving the car a little bit of a rev, getting ready there to go. Pace car comes in, and when's he going to drop it? Drops it right now. Away he goes. Another good start from Mickelmore.
Yeah, absolutely. He gets a great start off the line there, and the 3 JP Simshed cars have followed him this time, with Michael Skurlock in 5th place and Jason Martin in 6th.
Yeah, and speaking, obviously you're a bit biased towards this one, but it's been a very strong opening season for the JP Simshed team. Foster taking the sort of lead role in that one, having Joshua Calwell get in on the team as well. Some good peddlers in that team, and it's been a very strong season for you guys.
Yeah, look, it's been a fantastic season for the team. Didn't really know what we were going to do at the beginning of the season. Weren't really expecting much or had any big goals, but things seem to have come together really well for the entire team. And I tell you what, JCW tonight is looking very racing.
Yeah, he set a really good time in qualifying. Just got pipped to the post by the tiniest of margins. We're talking hundreds, thousands of a second. Nothing between himself and Josh Mickelmore. But speaking of strong drivers as well, Josh Mickelmore, of course, he got the win in the truck series. He took out the championship there, and he has been strong again this season. You can never count out people like Mickelmore.
Absolutely, he's a very, very tough competitor, fair competitor, and when he's leading like that, he's very hard to get around.
Yeah, it's sort of last season's comparison for Josh Mickelmore, he made it through almost pretty much, I think it was about 70% of the season without a single incident point, which speaks so highly of his skill there. He's just so good at keeping the car away from trouble, keeping it out of issue and keeping it going. As Adam Rosell comes into the pit lane with some damage to his car, I'm just going to jump back and see what happened to him. It looks like he's had a bit of a biff into the wall, maybe. So bit of a moment for Adam Rosell there, and looks like he's going to need to get some repairs done. Yeah, he's lost it on the final corner. A big moment for him. He's going to have to get some repairs done, but that might be a night for him, unfortunately. As the leaders continue going around, Josh Mickelmore keeps in the lead there. And Jason W and Jason Hartman are both chasing him down at the moment. We're seeing a bit of a spread for the Mixed Motorsport team, with Jason Martin down in 7th and Danny G in 9th place. Another team really to speak of is Pace Syndicate as well. Of course, new teams this season as well to the Cup Series, and not a new team in general, but into the Cup Series and bringing in a few different drivers as well. And that's got Michael Skurlock in the lead. I expect to see them being quite strong next year. Quite good row of drivers with them. And you've got James Robbie in the team, and of the other drivers in Pace Syndicate. My brain will eventually click in. But quite a few good drivers there. Some new drivers getting into the mix as well, and we've seen some interesting stuff there. So again, going to be strong next season. And Skurlock had a bit of an uneasy season as well. Quite a lot of moments for his season. He left a couple of teams, and team disintegrated unfortunately, and ended up closing doors early season. He's running on his own. Oh, and we've got another caution. And looks like it's Mirko Dortnack this time.
Let's go have a look at that.
So coming into the final corner. So Mirko Dortnack's, the first corner, he's going through the first corner. And looks like just the rear end has lost it on him. He's gone looping round, back into the wall. Managed to keep it just from hitting the barrier, but the caution's come out, and then lost it trying to get the car looping around. Which is one of those things that's quite easy to do on a track like this. Phoenix is not it's not got the sort of steepest banks out there, but they are just enough to make it so when you try and loop the car around in that position, especially if you're mid-apex, you can sometimes find the rear will try and overtake you.
Yeah, 100%. And with these guys having issues trying to get the tyres to come on tonight, they're probably just getting on the power just a fraction too early, and they're getting that that over rotation in the back.
Yeah, it's one of those things that can really catch you out driving these, and they have got an enormous amount of power, of course, underneath them. Rear-wheel drive, very lightweight cars. Well, for NASCAR standards, these are lightweight cars, but a big V8 in the front, lots of horsepower going through those rear wheels, and it's very easy to lose that grip. Sometimes what happens as well is when you've got tyre warm-up problems in these cars, you'll be going around making many laps with them, and then all of a sudden you'll just find that rear just drops off slightly for you, and it just catches you out sometimes. You'll make the same corner, you'll brake in the same spot every time, and then you'll go around that corner once after, say, 5 or 10 laps of running, and then all of a sudden it will just lose grip on you for no reason. You just go, how does that happen? But that's the trouble when you've got these slightly cooler tyres and they're not gripping up as much as you need them to.
Yeah, and that's when I guess that's when the art of driving these cars really comes into play, and that's when the cream really starts to rise to the top.
Yeah, very much so. This is where you see those seasoned drivers really making those gains in the standings. And you watch the cars as they go around, and you can see every lap Josh Micklemore, his tail end just kicking out a little bit to it, but he's managing to keep the slide, keeping it intact there, not drifting the car, but just keeping the tail happy. And it's all about throttle management with this.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you sort of want to put your foot down sometimes, but you just have to ease off, and you have to press the throttle almost like there's an egg underneath the pedal, just so you don't crack it. And you've got to be very gentle with these cars.
Yeah, 100%. And while we're watching these cars going around behind the pace car, I think we should send a quick shout out to our sponsors, Abruzzi Racewear, Virtual Motorsport Mentor, Hybrid Racing Simulations, iLiveries, and Track Cams for Gourmets.
Yeah, the absolutely beautiful camera angles that we've got tonight for this race. Track Cam for Gourmets, and brilliant camera angles all season from Track Cams for Gourmet, giving us some brilliant angles and make the races come alive. It really has enhanced the broadcast. So if you're looking to enhance your own broadcast, or if you like to save your replays and show them later through YouTube or Twitch or anything like that, really worth looking into Track Cams for Gourmet. Well worth the price of admission.
Absolutely, and getting ready for another restart. So let's see what Josh Micklemore does this time around. He went early a couple of times, so will he go early again, or will he hold them back a little bit this time?
Yeah, he becomes, as soon as that pace car slides into the pit lane, he effectively becomes the pace car until the line, and then all hell breaks loose, of course. But you'll see him just back the field up a little bit, and he wants to make a good getaway here. And that can be sometimes hard when the tyres have just dropped a little bit of the temperature behind the pace car. But he waits for it, he waits to it. Will he drop it at the wall again? He's waiting, and he called them all out. They thought he was going to drop it out that wall, and he went a little bit later. You could see everybody almost catching up to him and going into the back of him. That's given Jason Hartigan a good run down the inside, as well as Michael Skurlock. Everybody had to just check up a little bit there because they were expecting Micklemore to go faster at the start, and he did leave it off a little bit. You can see all the cars cutting that little bit of a kink in the circuit. With Phoenix Raceway, it's one of those tracks that's a bit strange because it's not a true oval. It's a little bit like I don't even know what kind of shape you would call it, but it's got a big kink in it on the far side of it. So as you go through the first corner, you come into this section. It's almost like a bit of a triangle. It's almost like a bit of a Pocono, and you can see those drivers just cutting down on the inside there onto the infield section, and making up a bit of time. Somebody that's not doing that though is Foster, who's behind a little bit. He's keeping on the track, just keeping the car safe at the moment. Jason Hartigan though has got a decent run now. He's catching up to Micklemore.
Yeah, it's almost like they caught Foster napping a little bit and were able to get around him, but as I expected, Micklemore just sort of held them back a little bit. The last couple of restarts he went early. I was almost expecting him to go later this time, and he did exactly what I was expecting him to do. Pretty cunning, and it worked a treat for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that all the drivers behind him just put the accelerator down for a mere second, they had to slam on the brakes, and that cost him a lot of time in the positions. As you can see, Jason Hartigan right on the rear of Josh Micklemore here. You can see the car just sliding around, losing that little bit of grip as they come down onto the apron section of the track. You can see the speed coming in, and Hartigan's got the inside line now as Micklemore loses the tail end a bit as he gets pushed up high. Low grip on that higher section there, and you do get marbling up there, and that's giving Jason Hartigan the chance to get in the lead of this race. First lead change for the race. Jason Hartigan now in the lead.
And a nice move there by Jason Hartigan. He sort of faked Micklemore out a little bit and then cut down to the inside and was able to get on the inside of Micklemore, make him go a little bit wider and then take that line. And it looks like now he's going to start to sort of step away a little bit.
He's going to try. You can see there Micklemore really struggling with that rear of the car at the moment. He is really getting some serious back end sliding out there. That rear is really going away from him. He's holding it extremely well though, but Jason Hartigan is absolutely flying at the moment.
Well, he was the fastest in practice, and I almost expected him to take out the qualifying. It's something that he still hasn't sort of come to terms with, the 2-lap qualifiers with these sort of short course races. But watch out! I'm sure he's going to start blitzing it next year.
Yeah, and we speak of some of the rookies in the season. Jason Hartigan, technically not a rookie because he did run a couple of races the end of last year, but this is his first full campaign in the series, and he has really stamped his foot and made his place known, taking out 3 wins this season so far. Jason Hartigan has been one of those drivers that has really said, yes, I'm here, and pay attention to me for next year because I'm going to be bringing it for you. But you can just see Josh Micklemore he's just not quite got the pace of Hartigan at the moment. It's all big moment behind for Jake Maloney. He managed to catch that perfectly, but he almost lost it there as he went across the apron. The tail really stepped out on him, and that's going to give Jason Martin a chance to get close to him.
Yeah, and that would have been a big heart and mouth moment. And Jason Martin gets the run up on Jake Maloney on the outside and makes that move stick.
And Foster tries to get the position as well. He doesn't quite get there. Loses a bit of traction as they go through turn number 1. And that's given Jake Maloney a little bit of a chance. But he did lose a bit of speed coming through the front there. Again, his rear tyres are really quite losing grip, and he's having to drift the car through that final corner. Really is quite slippery out there tonight, and the tyres aren't digging in at all. I won't be surprised to see Foster trying to put the pressure on Maloney now and try and get back in front of him. Jason Martin now just getting a bit of clean air, and he's able to just step out of it and start catching up to JCW.
Yeah, he's right on the back of JCW now, and he's chipping away at JCW, just catching up to him. But look at this, while all this is going on, Jason Hardigan now has got a 2.3 second lead on Josh Mickelmore.
Yeah, he's managed to really step out of the lead there. Just saw Nigel Patton just there in the red car getting lapped, and he had a big moment going across the start-finish line. His rear tyres just completely let go of him, and he had a big spin. Luckily, the caution didn't come out, or surprisingly, the caution didn't come out. But yeah, this is really helping Jason Hardigan. If he can remain green from here, he's sitting in a good position, pulling out almost a 2-second lead at the moment.
This is going to play right into the hands of Michael Skurlock here. Josh Mickelmore had a little bit of a moment, compromised his exit. Michael Skurlock capitalised on that, and JCW is looking at doing the same.
But look behind JCW, his teammate Jason Martin there. I haven't made that mistake for a while. Jason Martin there, Josh Mickelmore's teammate, is really putting the pressure on JCW. The trouble with Josh Mickelmore then was he was sort of hung out to dry, and now JCW's got that inside line again. That's going to mean Josh Mickelmore's going to have to go high again, go on the track where it doesn't quite have the grip. He's going to not get the traction out of this corner and lose that position. JCW's going to get past. Now he has his teammate Jason Martin behind him.
Yeah, so now the teammates are together, they might be able to work together and see if they can start moving up. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it looks like the tyres are having a bit of difficulty coming on, but maybe Josh Mickelmore sort of burnt out his rear tyres a little bit, going a little bit too hard. I don't know.
I think it's just the fact he's been sort of caught under the inside a few times. He's just gone out onto that higher line a few times and got some marbles and little bits of rubbish stuck on the tyre, and he seems to be losing a bit of speed. As you can see, Jason Martin getting past him now, and Josh Mickelmore is just starting to fall off slightly, struggling a little bit as this stint goes on. He might have got, we didn't notice a little bit earlier on, he was getting a lot of rear sliding, and he might have just got the tyres a little bit too hot there. They might have just overheated slightly, because yeah, he is really dropping down places at the moment, struggling for keeping that car with its tail inside. Michael Skurlock, meanwhile, has got JCW on his tail, and he's trying to catch up to Jason Hartigan now. Skurlock is putting in some good lap times at the moment. Still a little bit off the leader, but he is pushing pretty hard. Fastest car on track last time round was JCW, with pretty much a 28 dead. As we have the caution flag out.
And it looks like Nigel Patton's come into a bit of grief. Let's go and have a look at that.
Again, going through turn one, he's going through, and he almost caught Tristan Koch actually a little bit earlier on in that incident. He's hit the wall on the outside, coming across the start-finish line. Car's lost the rear end grip. He's gone around, and yeah, that was wasn't so lucky that time to not get the caution out. As he's gone down, you can see he just clipped the apron, and that spun the car even worse. And that's the trouble with tracks like this at Phoenix, is the once you, because there is that little bit of gap on the apron, it really can make the car rotate a bit more than you expect. As we see everybody coming in for the first pit stop this time round, lap 37.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting stop now. Last couple of rounds, Jason Hardigan had a few issues with his pit stops. This time around, let's see how he goes, but I don't think he's going to have any problems. He just needs to stop on his marks.
Easier said than done sometimes. These cars can be tricky to get there, and sometimes you just, when you've had trouble like that, you just a little bit more shy of getting the car in. Just saw with Foster behind him, actually, he just had to turn the car a little bit awkwardly to get into his pit stall, so he's going to lose a bit of time from that one. But Jason Hardigan has got off really well with that stop. He's just got out ahead of Michael Skurlock, and then Josh Mickelmore actually was the best of the rest on that pit stop. He managed to get out in front of many others, that being the fact he starts his pit boxes in the front of the lane really helped him there.
Yeah, 100%, and that's going to and that incident pretty much gave Josh Mickelmore a little bit of a get out of jail free card there. They've been able to get some fresh tyres on and that's really going to help him on the restart. This is going to be really interesting, though. Now, Phil Otto has stayed out, so this is going to be very, very interesting on the restart if he doesn't go into the pits.
Yeah, he might be rolling the dice a bit here tonight and seeing how it goes on the restart. These tyres have done 39 laps now, obviously, so he's going to have slight disadvantage in tyre life, but that's not to say it's going to be terrible. From what I was hearing from the drivers tonight out there in practice, the tyres weren't dropping off too much in speed-wise. They're pretty much holding on just fine, so this could work out well for Phil Otto. We'll have to see how it goes on that restart, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Spices up the racing a little bit sometimes, things like this. When you take a gambit like that as well, it's a big gamble, but you've got to see what happens to you. Big jump up for Aidan Schultz as well, down there in 13th position. He's managed to gain 11 positions in this race so far, so good job from Aidan Schultz there in the A1 Sim Sports team. Doing a really good job tonight there, just ahead of Bradley Allison there.
Yeah, really well done there by Aidan. He had a bit of bad luck in the last round, and it seems like he's kind of making up for it this time around.
As they go side by side again, pace car's lights have gone out. Phil Otto's going to lead this one away, number one in the lead now, and it will be interesting to see how he does on this restart. Now, of course, being the lead car, you get that advantage of you get to go first, so that could help him on this restart, being that he is on those slightly older tyres. The other thing as well is his tyres will have a bit more heat in them as well. Residual heat coming from the fact they've been running a bit longer, so they might get up to temperature a little bit easier than those guys on fresh rubber.
That's right, and being on the inside is going to help him. It's certainly going to help Michael Skurlock on the restart, and Phil Otto caught them all napping. He's caught Jason Hardigan absolutely asleep at the wheel.
Jason Hardigan just getting a terrible restart there. Phil Otto just going up a bit high there and just getting swamped by cars at the moment. It looks like the tyre wear is definitely there. So Phil Otto just losing positions. Just heard on the radio as well. Jason Hardigan there, he just had the wrong gear. So he had the car sitting in the wrong gear there for that restart. Easy mistake to make, but a costly one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And he did have the pace, so it's going to be interesting to see. But he's already made his way back to fourth. So once again, this is going to be very, very interesting. Michael Skurlock now has the lead. Jason Martin behind him, Edward Foster in third, and Jason Hardigan in fourth now.
Yeah, I was going to say Hamish Gallagher in fourth, but he took that position quickly. Jason Hardigan is flying once more. Fastest car out on the track at the moment, and he is really pushing the car for some speed, trying to climb back up to that position. But look who's got into second place. Well, second and third, really, Foster and Martin there. Those guys have been playing a very cool game there. I said Foster looked like he would have a bit of a slower pit stop, but it didn't affect him too much. Obviously, that restart helped him an enormous amount, as well as Jason Martin. So those guys are just climbing back up there, and always just getting up there to the top of those guys. It's one of those things. Michael Skurlock leading the race at a relatively early stage for Skurlock. We're not used to seeing this until the late stages of a race.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally we see Skurlock leave it till the very end. And there you saw something very interesting. It kind of looked like Foster just backed off there to let Hardigan go. He knows Jason's very racing tonight. He knows he's got the pace. Maybe he wants to see Jason have the win tonight, so he's just laid off the throttle going into that corner. And we've got another incident again and another Porsche.
Big incident at the back. I believe Tristan Koch had a big moment there. We'll go back and have a look at that one. That wasn't Tristan Koch, sorry, it was just ahead of him there.
Raymond Jaeger, Mirko Dortnak, and Tristan Koch. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, big crash there. And yeah, that's a big one then. Raymond Jaeger's just gone round, over-rotated the car. Mirko Dortnak didn't have anywhere to go. Neither did Matt Hunter and Tristan Koch. They pretty much just got caught up in the end of the sort of battle there. So really unfortunate for those guys. Big shame for those guys, and that's going to hamper their race.
Yeah, look, that's really, really unfortunate, and that's like you said, that's going to put a major crimp in their plans for this race.
Yeah, Phoenix is one of those tracks where it's going to affect a bit because it's not a huge downforce circuit. It's more mechanical grip, of course, and that's something with all of these cars generally. Obviously, not being a super speedway as well, you can get away with a bit of damage on the car, but it's not going to help their Knights for sure, and that's not going to be good for Matt Hunter either because that's going to drop him down, and he's in a tight battle for those last places in the chase at the moment, and that's not going to help him there at all, unfortunate.
Absolutely, and we're following some of the cars now with our drone cam. These are some pretty amazing camera angles that we've got from track cams for gourmets here.
Yeah, that's a very cool camera angle, isn't it? It just really, some of the stuff, when you can actually make these cool camera packs and stuff, it really intrigues me because they are so very cool. And they really do make a difference for the actual broadcast because it makes everything just look so much neater and nicer on the actual broadcast.
Yeah, 100%. And Istvan from Track Camps of Gourmet spends hours doing these camera packs and recreating different aspects of the camera. So yeah, unbelievable job and fantastic stuff.
Yeah, very good work indeed. But this is giving Skurlock the chance now. He's got in the lead. He's going to sit there and be quite happy now. And this is going to give Skurlock the chance to lead away and give him a couple of laps led as well. Jason Martin's sitting there behind him. And then you've got Jason Hardigan, who's there in third position with his teammate Foster. So they're going to be side by side on the restart. Jason Martin, of course, is going to be on the high line. Skurlock on the low line. But this could be really good for Hartigan to get back up there. This is sort of something that's going to help him out quite a lot. A little bit further down, you've got Josh Micklemore just weaving the car a little bit. We don't often see that in NASCAR, in this sort of oval series where you do sort of try and warm the tyres up with a little bit of weaving left to right, just trying to get a little bit more heat into the tyres as you go round. But it looks like people are really struggling to get those tyres switched on tonight. So a few people just giving the cars a little bit of a wobble left to right just to try and get a little bit of heat in those tyres. More of a psychological thing most of the time than an actual tyre warm, the old left to right weave, but it does make it feel a little bit better, at least in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see their track temperatures, ambient temperatures fairly low, 24 degrees, track temperature 31. So yeah, they're taking a little bit of time to come on these tyres, but that also adds to the flavour of the racing.
Yeah, it makes it very, very different. And Phoenix is one of those tracks that is really one of those tricky tracks to drive. If you get it perfect, you're doing a great job. It's very rewarding when you get it working for you, though. But it is a very tricky track to drive. And it's one of those tracks where I say, if you're a road racer and all you think is with NASCARs, it's just turning left, try and go full pelt around Phoenix because you're going to have a bad day.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at this restart from the back of Michael Skurlock's car this time, and I'm pretty sure that Jason Hardigan's not going to make the same mistake twice.
Hopefully he's got it in the right gear this time round. Skurlock's just going to wait, and he's going to wait for it to drop in the car, and he pulls away, puts the accelerator down, gets a good launch there at the restart. Jason Martin also got a bit of pace there as well. He's going to get down in front of Jason Hartigan. Most importantly, I think he's managed to get in front of Hartigan because Hartigan didn't get that clear air. He could have been able to launch it there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure that's what Hardigan's planning to do with Jason Martin onto that very quickly.
And just look at the closing speed of Jason Martin there as they go through turns 4 and 5. It's a bit of an odd track, as I say, because there's an extra turn in this one. But you can see Jason Martin absolutely flying there. He had a really good entry into the corner, but not quite as good exit as he almost rubs the wall. And that's going to give Jason Hardigan the chance to start catching up to him, giving Skurlock the chance to just pull away. Skurlock's definitely taking a bit less speed into the corner, but getting a much better speed out of it at the moment. But Jason Martin just taking a more aggressive approach, really, really slowing it into the corner, braking much later, and carrying a little bit more speed into the corner, but not necessarily getting the speed on the exit.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see here getting a little bit wider run to allow Jason Hardigan to catch up to him, but he just cannot do anything once he gets there. He just cannot find a way around him on the inside. Jason Martin keeping him nice and tight line and just closing the
Yeah, he's got a really good position there, and he's just masterful track positioning of the car as well, just putting it in a position where Jason Hardigan can't really take advantage of it as much as he wants to. He's keeping the car slightly mid-track at the moment. This track is more of a single line track than other sort of short circuits. You really do have a sort of single line as you go through the track up until you come to the kink after turns 1 and 2. That sort of turn 3, what we're coming up to now with the leader Michael Skurlock, and that will kink. You'll see lots of people taking a different line through that, and that can be the difference maker. If you can get down there and manage to carry the speed across the apron, then you can sometimes get the nose underneath the guy going into turns 4 and 5, those final corners of the track, and that can make a difference.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I was just about to say the teammates have hooked up and are starting to work together, but Josh Micklemore just had himself a little moment there, and that's allowed Danny G just to get in front.
Yeah, Danny G jumping on that little mistake by Josh Micklemore, getting ahead, and this is giving James Robbie a chance to come at him as well. And the aforementioned Aiden Schultz as well, he's starting to close him down. Good positioning once again from Aiden Schultz. He's doing a really good job out there. Got some good positions tonight. Worked his way from the back of the field up to the sort of higher end there. But Danny G's starting to get some speed into there now. He's going to want to try and close in on JCW, who's gone a bit quiet in this stage of the race as we hit lap 56. He's got a bit quiet. He's starting to put pressure on Hamish Gallagher now. Hamish Gallagher's just keeping the car sort of mid-track, and this is going to be a chance for JCW as they go up a little bit higher. This is going to be a slightly... JCW just compromised his exit there. He got a little bit of oversteer going through those final corners, but he's got the car a little bit lower than Hamish Gallagher at the moment. He's really applying the pressure, but Gallagher is no slouch, and he's putting the car just in that really good sweet spot at the moment.
Yeah, Gallagher's got the car exactly where he wants to put it, and he's just making life difficult for JCW at the moment. And really for these guys, it's just now a game of being patient. Yeah,
you just got to try and not do too much. You just got to get the car, just get into a rhythm, not push too hard. There's still a long way to go. We've almost got 100 laps left to go. Well, 90 laps left to go really. So there's a long way to go here still. Just looking on the front of Hamish Gallagher's car, there is a little bit of damage on there. He's just taking...
Sorry, Carl, just going to a replay here of Jason Hardigan overtaking Jason Martin for second place.
Yeah, he's managed to get that move done very well there. Getting a really good run into turns 1 and 2. And just pushing Jason Martin up high. And he's just gone high, and that's lost him that position. Foster's going to be really putting the pressure on him now as well. And that's giving the Hamish Gallagher and JCW a chance to catch up too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw the presence of mind there from Jason Martin. Once he knew that Jason Hardigan was on the inside line there, he opened up his steering a little bit. No point to fight the issue, and just live to fight on another day. And look at this.
Yeah, up at the front, Skurlock getting a lot of really loose rear end there, and that's giving Jason Hardigan the chance to get down on the inside of him. Skurlock was having to soar away at the steering wheel there as he was going through turns 1 and 2. Really, really well done to hold it by Skurlock. But that's given Jason Hardigan a real big chance to just come flying through. And Jason Hardigan's just managing to keep that car just so steady. That's one thing I've really noticed from him tonight, is he's not soaring away at the wheel. He's not having as much rear looseness as other drivers. He's very much using a very gentle driving style to get the car around. He's not getting the rear out. He's not pushing too hard on the front. You see behind him Michael Skurlock just losing that rear end again as they come through turns 4 and 5 across to start-finish line. Skurlock maybe starting to struggle with his rear tyres now, but Jason Hardigan's just got that lovely movement on that wheel and keeping it steady. As now Jason Martin is coming up to Michael Skurlock. He's going to try and apply the pressure. They come through the little kink, and Martin just couldn't get it done that time round, but Skurlock is really struggling through turns 4 and 5, through the final set of corners on this track at the moment.
Yeah, it just seems that Hardigan, he's just that little bit smoother with his inputs, and as soon as he gets to the front, he's able to clear out a gap.
Yeah, you're going to see him starting to launch himself away as he sets fastest lap out of anyone that time round for the last lap. Sorry, 27.9 for him, and everyone else is in the 28s, low to mid 28s there. So he is really starting to pull away in the front now. This could be a chance for Jason Hardigan to just fly away from it.
Yeah, and just going back now to JCW, starting to put pressure on Hamish Gallagher. Looks like he's going to look for an inside move here. Gets the job done.
He does, and Jason Martin did the exact same thing to Michael Skurlock there as well, taking second place from him. It was almost a mirror move, almost like JCW was watching Jason Martin and thought, what you can do, I can do just the same. And they both managed to make that pass with each other. Jason Martin now is going to try and hunt down Jason Hardigan. The two Jasons up at front. Edward Foster there in fourth position. He's starting to put some pressure on Michael Skurlock as well. Again, with Foster, he's just a little bit softer on the steering, not losing the rear quite as much. He's sort of keeping the car relatively under control as he goes down underneath Michael Skurlock there. And looks like JCW is going to get a move done on Skurlock as well. Definitely looks like the rear tyres are just starting to overheat a bit for him, because he's just dropping time. He's hemorrhaging lap time at the moment as Hamish Gallagher gets past, as well as Joshua Carroll-Walden. Big loss for Michael Skurlock there. I'm just wondering if he is having those rear tyre issues, if they've just lit up a bit too much and he's struggling to cool them down.
Yeah, absolutely. Something must have happened. Maybe he was just pushing a little bit too hard, leaning too hard on those rear tyres. They overheated, and it's now cost him a few places.
Well, we saw that earlier on with Josh Micklemore, almost a mirror moment really for Skurlock and Micklemore there. Both of them seemed to be using a much happier rear end of their car, quite taily, glidey rear end, and they both started losing position, losing time around about the same stint length as well, sort of at the 30 lap mark. So it seems to be that the drivers that are pushing a little bit more rear bias, using the rear tyres a bit more, are starting to struggle as they come to these stages. Speaking of Josh Micklemore, he's just put a move on his teammate Danny G down there in 7th place now, and Danny G is getting harassed by James Robbie as well. But Jason Hardigan has really pulled out a lead at the front.
Yeah, once again he's just checked out. So in a few laps there, he's now got a 1.8 second lead over Jason Martin, and now it looks like Foster is starting to menace Martin as well.
Yeah, he's starting to put a little bit of pressure on the back of Jason Martin. He's just trying to pressure him into just making some little mistakes, trying to force him to change his lines a little bit. But all of those drivers up the front, very much using that very gentle approach to the car. They're not pushing the rear in too much. They're not forcing the car around. They're more going for a gentle approach, which seems to be working much better for the rear tyres. Foster still tends to keep that higher line through the apron section, which is losing him a little bit of time over Jason Martin, but he's catching him as they go through the final set of corners. Foster seems to have a much better car through the actual corners. The tyres seem to be sticking with him a bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he's not putting that much, as much pressure on the tyres, asking as much as say Jason Martin is. Just had a question there from Roger Clark that's watching us. What's the deal with the positions in championship winners? So I guess where are they in the championship at the moment, Carl, if you want to sort of run through it real quickly while we watch this?
Yes, so no doubt something amazing will happen on track as I go through this. So up the front we have Edward Foster leading, and he's got a 32-point lead over Jason Martin. Jason Martin is ahead of Hamish Gallagher in third by 10 points. 12 points behind him is Michael Skurlock. 17 points behind Michael Skurlock is Jason Hardigan. 1 point behind Jason Hardigan is Danny G. 17 points behind Danny G is Josh Micklemore. 31 points down is Stephen Williams. Then we have Norman Clark, who's 31 points off Stephen Williams. Brad Allison, 5 points off Norman Clark. Matt Hunter, 9 points off Brad Allison. So that's the positions from 1st to 11th. As I say, we've got 11 cars in there tonight. And it's a pretty tough battle. There are some really close contenders in there. You know, we've got Danny G and Jason Hardigan at the moment. At the moment, Jason Hardigan's doing enough to get that position up. But between, Skulk.
And we've got, you called it, that something's happened, and it looks like it's Lachlan Urquio. Let's go and have a look at that.
Looks like he's misjudged his braking point, and yeah, looks like he just
no!
too late, and big crash into James Robbie, and I think Riley Curtis went into the side of James Robbie as well. So he just locked up the brakes as he came in there. The rear slided round, went into the back of James Robbie. So big one there. James Robbie, a innocent victim in that incident.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a few frowny faces at Lachlan Urquio after this one. And here they all come into the pits. Roger Clark was more asking where are they sitting in the championships. Well, at the moment, Roger, I think Ed just has to finish the race, and he's pretty much got the deal sealed.
Yeah, so Foster needs to. If Foster finishes, within, I think it's 20 positions of Jason Martin, he's pretty much got the deal done from here on in. If Jason Martin and Edward Foster both end up losing it and not finishing the race, it does give Hamish Gallagher the slight chance of getting it. But it is a big it's a big ask for that to happen. Basically, Foster needs to have a really terrible thing happen for him to lose from here on out. But he's still in a good position. As long as he finishes roughly around Jason Martin, he'll be all good. Just in those pit stops, Jason Hartigan missed his marks as he came into the pit lane. So Jason Hartigan just stopped a little bit short. He had to move ahead a little bit, and that lost him a lot of time in those pit stops.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not really helping him, I mean, he's got the pace to be at the front, but these little tiny mistakes are putting him back, and he's got to work to get back to the lead every time. So that's just putting him down into 5th place now.
That's it. And as you say, those tiny mistakes, and that's the thing that, you have to remember, it's Jason Hardigan's first full season running the Cup cars, and these mistakes happen. It does take a lot to get used to these, especially if you're used to racing road cars, because they are very, very different to drive. And the brakes are so much... They're not brakes that you would expect on a race car. They don't really stop you that easily. So you do make these mistakes coming into pit lane. It's very easy to make that mistake. And sometimes you just stop short by a couple of millimetres and just have to roll forward a little bit. And it really does cost you.
Yeah, 100%. It's absolutely nothing like the track cars. These cars have got no pit limiter, small brakes. They've got plenty of horsepower, so yeah, it is very, very easy to miss your mark.
The other thing as well is it's very chaotic in the pit lane. It's not like a GT race where you've got big pit stalls between each other. The pit stall is pretty much the length of the car in oval racing, in NASCAR racing. And when you're coming into pit lane, it's very disorientating. Sometimes you can't even see your pit marker. It's very hard because you've got so many cars around them. You also just said they don't have a pit limiter, and that's it. You're constantly looking at the speed of your car, keeping check of that as you go through. And sometimes it's so easy to miss. You basically have to drive through other cars to get into your pit box, and it makes it very difficult sometimes. And we've seen that from Jason Hartigan a couple of times tonight. I think I'm going to call it the curse of the Jasons, because for many years that was Jason Martin's biggest weak point as well, was coming into pit lane. He often would just miss the pit stop. Missed the pit box by a couple of millimetres and had to roll forwards a little bit or overshoot. So I think Jason Hartigan has taken up the curse of the Jason for the pit stops.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to be an interesting turn of events. We've got Martin in first, JCW second, Foster in third, Hamish Gallagher fourth, and Jason Hartigan in fifth. Yeah, very interesting turn of events for the restart. And there we go. Martin goes early, gets a really good start here.
Yeah, he's got a nice bit of lead there. Foster's just got a good position for himself. That's going to give him a chance to get up into second place. See Hamish Gallagher dropping down to the inside, just pushing JCW a bit high there. And Gallagher goes down the inside, trying to make a move on Foster. Makes a very late lunge there. He's going to try his best to get the car under control as he goes through that corner. You can see his tail was just sliding around the big corner there.
And we just saw JCW clip the wall as he was coming out of that turn and just sort of jinked towards drifting towards Hardigan's car there. I thought there was going to be another point.
And up at the front, sorry, Hamish Gallagher is making that move on Foster. He's pushed him out wide, and this could be bad news for Foster. We've seen a few times when you get pushed out wide there, you lose a lot of speed. Jason Hardigan's coming up on the inside of Foster now. He's going to be able to make the move. Foster's going to have to go high again as a caution comes out lower down the field. A big moment for one of the Sims A1 Sim Sports cars.
Unfortunately, it was Aiden Schultz. We're going to have a look at that now.
Yeah, big moment there for Aiden Schultz as he's gone around there and he's just lost the front end of the car there, and it's just gone around and around and around for him. So a really unfortunate thing there. He's just lost that rear end, tried to catch it, gone into the wall. Big nose into the wall there. A real shame for Aiden Schultz.
Yeah, absolutely. That really is a big shame for Aiden.
But this has given the leaders a little bit of respite. Again, they can have a bit of a relax, have a bit of a drink, and relax a little bit for a couple of laps. Have a think about how things are edging out for them. It's kind of a saver for Ed Foster there, really. I was just about to say he got caught on the outside line, and we've seen that a few times tonight. JCW was one I was going to point out to, is when you get up on that high line, you get onto those marbles. Well, I wouldn't even say they're marbles. It's just more of a dusty edge of the track because you're not really putting marbles out there with these tyres. They're not getting enough wear to really marble up. But you get onto that dusty outside section of the track where there's less rubber and the car just loses all grip, and all of a sudden you just go sliding up towards the wall.
Yeah, and that's certainly not where you want to be.
No, it does not help. And this track, as I say, it being a sort of single line racetrack, it really does make it so passing, you've got to do it on the inside. And if you can get that car inside of somebody, you're going to make their race a lot harder. As they go on that outside line, they lose a lot of grip.
100%.
As I think both of us take a quick moment to have some drinks there. It's the useful part about caution flags sometimes is we get a chance to drink a bit. But as they go at the moment, Jason Martin leads, Hamish Gallagher, Foster for third, fourth Jason Hartigan, fifth is JCW, Michael Skurlock sixth, Josh Micklemore seventh, eighth Danny G, Bradley Addison is ninth, and Norman Clark inside the top 10 there in 10th position. Good positioning for Norman Clark right there, and he's again one of those drivers that's got a few places he can make up in the chase. So he could possibly make a little bit of a leap up to sort of 8th position, or make 9th position a solid spot for himself, because it is a very tight field down there for those last places in the chase. Bradley Allison is just 5 points behind Norman Clark, and Matt Hunter is 14 points behind Norman Clark as well. So it's very close for those last positions of the chase there. But currently it's going to be Bradley Allison looking in a good spot, but he just needs to get ahead of Norman Clark. He just needs to finish a few more positions ahead of Norman Clark to really lock in that position. But what a super season Brad Allison's had this year. First season in the Cup cars, and he's done an absolute solid job, as well as Matt Hunter as well, his first full season. Both of them getting into the chase and having a really solid year all round.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, probably the drive of Jason Hardigan has kind of overshadowed these guys, but take nothing away from their achievements this season. That's a big deal to get into the chase in your rookie season.
Yeah, it's a huge effort for those guys, and they've done a really good job at it. Of course, Matt Hunter, our long-time producer, when we were showing the Cup from the years past, and it's nice to see him having some good finishes out there and working his way into the Cup and working his way into the chase, for this season. As the pace car lights go out once again, Jason Martin's going to start on that inside line with Hamish Gallagher on the outside. So Hamish Gallagher's now got the role of that outside car. How's he going to go on the restart? Whereabouts is Jason Martin going to launch? We're going to find out very shortly as the pace car will come into the pit lane. Jason Martin starts to get ready, and he's going to launch the car. Launches away now, gets a good start over Hamish Gallagher. Foster manages to keep the car in a good position as well. He might get Gallagher on this drive through. As you can see, Jason Hardigan getting very close to Gallagher as well. He's managed to turn the car down quicker than Hamish Gallagher. He's going to get a good drive off this corner. He might even be close to getting past his teammate right here. Jason Hardigan, a good run there through that first section of the restart, putting pressure on Foster already. Jason Martin managing to keep the lead, get the car into a good position.
Yeah, great restart there by Jason Martin, but Foster went with him this time and was able to pip Hamish Gallagher, and the pace of Jason Hardigan, that was absolutely ridiculous. He was actually wedged there between Foster's and Gallagher's car, and he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, he really just launched that one, and really, I think, caught Gallagher by surprise a little bit. Gallagher just getting pushed up onto that higher line as well, and that lost him a bit of speed there. But an absolutely lightning restart there, and really good drive by Foster as well to keep on the back of Jason Martin. He just launched that car perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's going to be now interesting to see what happens from here, because Jason Hardigan, we know he's quick. But is he going to start to do a bit of tail gunning here for Foster?
Yeah, I was wondering before if they were playing hare and tortoise with each other, sending Jason Hardigan out there to run a bit of a hare approach to try and hurry people up and push them to some faster speeds and wear their tyres down, loosen a little bit of grip a little bit quicker. And while Foster just sits there not pushing as hard. But at the moment, Foster's got that position, and he's pretty much holding it quite well. Hardigan is looking pretty racy out there still, and I think we might see Hardigan get past Foster and start chasing down Jason Martin. The person that has to put a bit more work in now is Hamish Gallagher, as he has got Michael Skurlock behind him, who's really Joshua Carroll-Walden behind him, who's starting to apply some pressure onto the back of Hamish.
Yeah, he's really applying the blowtorch. And Joshua Carroll-Walden's been quick all night long. He's been menacing all night long. He's dominating on the inside there. Let's see what he does here.
Jason Hardigan has got past Foster. Foster's lost a bit of speed going through the outside there, but Jason Hardigan's managed to get past. He almost got past by Hamish Gallagher there, but managed to keep the position.
We won't go to the replay because these cars are all backed up now, so I'm pretty sure if I do that, I'm going to miss another passing opportunity.
That's it. It's the hardest thing to do, is working out replays and getting things in the right time, almost like we need a picture-in-picture mode. But yeah, Jason Hardigan got a brilliant launch there. Foster sort of eased off a little bit. He managed to put the car in a good position to get a good runoff, so he managed to keep that position well. But Hamish Gallagher did get some good drive there, almost getting past Foster. But now we're going to see Jason Hardigan try and put the pressure onto Jason Martin. He sets the fastest lap of the field that time round, a couple of tenths faster than Jason Martin. So he's going to start chasing him down really quick here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see he's already cleared a gap between himself and Foster. So he's, no doubt about his prowess. He just has to minimise those mistakes so he can stay at the front.
Yeah, that's it. It's been strong all race, but little mistakes here and there have really come to shine tonight for Jason Hardigan. And that's the thing, as I say, it's still his first season in ANZCAR, in the Cup Series. A lot of these tracks are very new to him, very different places. But he's there chasing down Jason Martin at the moment, putting on some real pressure. It's eased out a little bit behind him. Everybody's a little bit further away from each other. But I think the big battle is going to be the battle for the first place coming up in a few moments.
Yeah, it's look, you can't take anything away from Jason Hardigan in his rookie season. He's battling for the lead, and he's won a few races, battled for the lead. That's pretty special. It's going to be very interesting to see how he comes along next year.
Yeah, it's definitely shaping up for an interesting season next year. As I said, we've got so many drivers who have really started to shine this year. Drivers that have been really strong through past years, but haven't had the team around them, haven't had the comfort sort of zone for the cars, and just struggled a little bit here and there, or they just made a few silly mistakes here and there, and they've ironed that out of their drives this season, and they have really started making positions. JCW, as you mentioned, he has been really good this season. first season in a team. Of course, he was one of the lone drivers for a much time. As Jason Hardigan gets a big launch into the corner just then, catching up to Jason Martin. But Hamish Gallagher as well, he's on his own almost in that 13 management team. Sole car out there. So that's a huge job for him. Being in the top 3 of the chase on your own with no teammates around you. He's done an amazing job this season. And in all honesty, I'd say Hamish Gallagher is the one that has really come out and shone this year.
Yeah, 100%. I'd have to agree with that. Being the lone gunner, I mean, when you've got a team of 3 or 4 cars around you, it's very easy. You've got people that you can depend on. But when you're on your own, it's very, very hard.
It does make it more difficult, and you don't get the feedback from your teammates. You know, you'll see the Mitch Motorsport boys and of course the JP Simshed boys and the Pace Syndicate. They will practice. They will work with each other. They tell each other what's going on and what's the best line, what works. It's all Hardigan again having to brake a lot harder there. Jason Martin positioning the car really well there. Looks like Jason Martin's just putting the brakes on a little bit earlier than he needs to, just to catch out Jason Hardigan. Really, really crafty work from Jason Martin though.
Yeah, he's checking up. He's checking up Hardigan. So and I think, look, Jason Hardigan, I should say, is probably going to catch on to that fairly soon. And he's going to start to expect that from him.
Yeah, you can see it this time round. He's not got as close, and he's going to be able to get a better drive off the corner now. This is going to be the part for Jason Martin where he's going to have to really watch out as Hardigan goes through the apron section. He's going to come down. He's going to get quite close to him through the final sets of turns, but he's much closer than he has been for a few laps. As just behind him, Joshua Carroll-Walden and Hamish Gallagher are having a great little battle too. A bit hard to know where to look at the moment because guaranteed whichever one you look at is going to be the wrong battle. But we can keep the cameras relatively zoomed out so you can kind of see what's going on. Joshua Carroll-Walden getting a move done on Hamish Gallagher now. They're side by side as they go into the final set of corners, and Joshua Carroll-Walden gets that move done. Gets up there into 4th place.
Absolutely, and look at this. I mean, Hardigan is monstering Martin here, goes to the inside and gets it done.
That was the move and that was the moment. Jason Martin knew he couldn't do anything there. Hardigan had that line and he was not going to be able to put the car down. Martin was kind of stuck there. Hardigan really just brute forced his way into that position. Great pass from Jason Hardigan.
He's gone a little bit wide here. No, he's been able to bring it back. Yeah, absolutely. And once again, you know, you've got to hand it to Jason Martin. He saw it coming, and he just stepped aside and let Hardigan get on with it. No point trying to fight the issue and perhaps cause an incident.
Yeah, he knew when to give up then. He really put some pressure on all the way around then. He was really working hard and putting a lot of pressure on Jason Martin all the way through. And Jason Martin was doing a great job of keeping Hardigan behind him, just positioning that car in perfect spots. But eventually Jason Hardigan just saw a chink in Martin's armour and managed to make that move count, and he's back there in 1st place. But now Martin is starting to close back on him and starting to apply the pressure back to Jason Hardigan.
Yeah, and Martin's getting better drive off this last turn here. Hardigan seems the last couple of times went a little wide, and Martin got some better drive here, but Hardigan's kept it a little tighter this time around, and they are going to be coming up to some lap traffic, so this is going to be interesting.
This is the big point now as you come up to the lap traffic, and of course, and we've said it all year round, we could probably put it on a t-shirt or a mug by the end of the season, but of course in oval racing, in NASCAR racing, you don't have to jump out the way for the leaders. You have to race for your place, and there's not any problem in racing to keep on the lead lap.
Sorry, Carl, looks like we've got another caution. Looks like Nigel Patton has come to grief again. Let's go and have a look at that.
Yeah, he's lost it going through the last corner. Back end has stepped out on him. He's just tapped the apron a bit too much there, and that's unsettled the car. It's just started going around. The back end's gone fully round. He's tried to catch the slide and made it much worse for himself and gone up into the wall and just got a tow straight back to the pit lane. Good awareness there from Nigel Patton there. Just putting the car straight back into pit lane with the tow feature, just so he didn't get caught by anyone else. So making sure he didn't get in the way of anyone else and cause a big wreck there. But we're going to see the cars come in again, I reckon, for this time. Oh, are we? Oh, Jason Hardigan leaving it for the last moment there. Jason Hardigan really left it hanging there. But we see just behind them, a few cars have stayed out. Hamish Gallagher's stayed out. Josh Micklemore and Danny G have stayed out. So a few cars have stayed out. Joshua Carroll Walden as well, one of those cars that stayed out. So these guys have come into the pit lane now are going to lose track position. Brad Allison's going to gain a few positions from this one, as well as James Robbie. So a few cars are going to get position, and this is sort of...
Oh, look at this! Just Ed Foster there just missed his pit bay and had to move back. Yeah, this is going to be really interesting here because these guys are going to be on fresh tyres. They're going to be fast. Bit of wheel spin there from Hardigan, but he gets out just ahead of Martin. I don't know whether Jason Hardigan was going to go into the pits. He looked in his probably looked in his rearview mirror, saw Martin diving into the pits, and thought at the last second, I better cover him off.
Yeah, I think also with that, he stopped Jason Martin from being able to throw a dummy as well. If you sort of, when that happened, you could see Jason Martin was right on the inside of Jason Hardigan, and Hardigan came in at the last minute, meaning Jason Martin couldn't jink out at the last second and keep track position. Again, teammates, they can be very useful in situations like that because it made sure that Jason Martin had to pit that time round. He might have just been throwing the dummy, but he was forced into pitting that time round by Jason Hardigan.
And this has put JCW in the lead of the race, and he's been fairly racy all night. I think he can. I think he can hold on.
Well, we did see earlier on. These guys are on tyres that are about 30 laps old now, and we saw earlier on with Phil Otto how quickly he fell down the field. Those fresh tyres are going to make a big difference. So it's going to be tricky, of course. The older tyres, they're going to come up to heat a little bit quicker because they've had a bit of a heat cycle run through them. But those fresh tyres are just going to be a bit grippier. The big issue, though, is they're going to have to drive past a lot of drivers. Speaking of Phil Otto, he stayed out again. He's the first car that's on those old tyres in 7th place. So from 8th place down, we've got lots of people on fresh tyres now, and they're going to have to race their way back up the field with only 40 laps remaining. Almost 40 laps remaining as they come round when they take the green flag. So it's going to be a very tight one. I think we're going to see. I think we'll see them getting back up into the lead, but it could be problematic for them because they're going to have to actually make passes on track.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is going to be really interesting because they're going to be getting around cars fairly quickly on the restart, as you said, with their new tyres, but also, I mean, pace cars breed pace cars, and it just increases the risk of something happening.
It does. Also, the fact you've got so much more grip than some of the people in front of you, it's very easy to miscalculate. Very easy as well on those older tyres to go a little bit wide and have a moment. As the pace car comes in and Joshua Carroll-Walden's going to lead away. He waits, he drops the throttle. Hamish Gallagher was caught onto that pretty well. They both get a good start there. Joshua Carroll-Walden getting much better lead out of the corner. Hamish Gallagher's going to be tied up a little bit on the high side because Josh Bickmore's managed to catch that inside. You can see Hamish Gallagher losing so much time there, and he's just coming out on the high line. Looks like Danny G might be putting pressure on him in a moment. He's managed to catch back up to Josh Micklemore, but he's going to lose positions out here as he gets hung out on the outside. You can see Jason Hardigan is already up there behind them. He's flying his way up the field, up there in 5th place now. He's made a brilliant restart, managed to get a few positions. You're going to see he's just going to be able to drive underneath those drivers on the older tyres, which he does. He gets underneath Danny G at the moment. So these guys are just going to be able to drive around the guys on the older tyres. And you can see he's putting that pressure. He's on the inside of Danny G. That's going to cause Danny G to go on that high side, lose a bit of time. And you can see Jason Hardigan has made that move work. Hamish Gallagher there just getting a little bit loose on the tail. You can see Jason Hardigan again be able to go on that inside line, hold that tighter line, and that's going to force Hamish Gallagher out. And he could lose a position to Foster and Danny G right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see those tyres are actually working really well for them. And even though, I mean, it's risky, they've mitigated that risk, and they're making their way. They're marching their way to the head of the pack now.
They are, but they have also left themselves in a little bit of a sticky situation. If the pace car comes out a bit later in this race, they have used up their tyre sets. That's something else to keep in consideration here tonight. Those guys that didn't stop will have a fresh set of tyres if the caution comes out again a little bit later on in this race, and that could be crucial if we get a late caution in this race. But Jason Hardigan is already up there in second place, and he's just hunting down his teammate right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen it time and time again that we have seen late cautions in these races.
Yeah, it's a bit of a risk in that respect. As I say, right now it's going to pay off well for them. But if that caution comes out in about 10, in the next 30 laps, it could be an absolute disaster for these guys. So that could be a really crucial part of this race and who's going to take the victory. But right now, behind Joshua Carroll-Walden, you've got Jason Martin and Edward Foster both battling away. You can see the tyre advantage isn't huge because you've got Josh Bickmore right behind Jason Martin at the moment. Joshua Carroll-Walden lets his teammate through. He can't do much to fight off against the fresh tyres as Jason Martin gets down the inside as well. And they start to run away from these guys on the older tyres now.
Yep, so this is where they're going to start making hay while the sun shines, but like you said, if a caution comes out, this could really work against them.
Yeah, this is the big thing about the Cup Series as well, is they do have a fixed number of tyres for their pit stops, which is a mechanic which was introduced into iRacing middle of this year, I think it was. So basically the cars have 4 sets of tyres for the race, the set they start on, and then they get 3 sets to change during the race itself. So you find yourself towards the end of the race, if you've stopped 3 times, missing out on a lot of tyres, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. So this is going to be very interesting going into the final stint here.
Yeah, it could make or break this race, and as I say, those guys that didn't stop are going to want a late caution to come out to really help them out. The issue for them, though, is Jason Hardigan has got such pace at the moment. If he puts them a lap down before that caution comes out, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and that's probably what he's trying to do. He's going to try and get a good break and get a good gap on these guys who haven't pitted. And look at this. Looks like Nigel Patton's come to grief again, but I don't know if that's going to call out caution.
No, caution's not come out for that one. Luckily, again, he's just hit the escape key pretty quickly as he's come to a stop. He's blown his engine, and I think that's his night over and done with. Unfortunately, he's tried to keep it going out there. I think it's his first run out here tonight as well. So I don't recall seeing his name in the past in the series. A bit of a baptism by fire there. Hard racetrack to come and learn on. Hard racetrack to come for your first time out in these cars as well. But valiant effort to try and keep it going. And I think that's the end of his race now. But Jason Hardigan is pulling out a decent lead. Foster is second, Jason Martin third, Joshua Carroll-Walden fourth with Michael Skurlock fifth, sixth is Stephen Williams with Josh Micklemore seventh, eighth Hamish Gallagher, ninth is Norman Clark and Lachlan Erkio in 10th position.
Yeah, you can just see the guys who didn't pit that time around. It just sort of starting to fall down now.
Yeah, losing time quite quickly. Want to look at is Danny G for that. You can just see how much time he's lost. He's down there in 12th place at the moment. He's really lost quite a lot of time there. He's managed to get past Michael Schroeder, but he's sort of starting to come back to speed a little bit. As I said, those tyres, they don't lose too much speed, but they can be a little bit rough on the restarts, and they just don't have as much stickiness as you want them to. They lose a little bit of adhesion.
Yeah, and you can just see that happening. You've seen Michael Skurlock there just get around JCW.
Yeah, Skurlock absolutely flying at the moment as well. He's one of those guys that came in for that extra set of tyres. And JCW is not losing time too quickly. As I said, they're not going to be hemorrhaging time on these old tyres. It's not like some tracks where you will lose, seconds every corner. But they are losing speed as they go round. The average sort of lap pace for those guys on the older tyres is around about a 28.5, 28.1 sort of thing. The guys on the fresh tyres are around about the mid-27s. So you're losing about half a second to a quarter of a second a lap on those fresh tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we see Jason Martin reins right up behind Ed Foster now.
Yeah, Martin's really sticking onto Foster's rear end there, and he is really trying to make that position work. He's putting the pressure on Foster. He's doing everything he can to try and get past Foster and try and get a good result for the end of the season. But Foster's going to keep him back. Foster wants to get a good position in this race. He doesn't want to just win the championship with a lower place finish. Oh, Martin just gets a big tail slide there as he comes through the final corner. That's giving Foster a little bit of leeway.
And you can just see the attitude apart from the hamburger can. We've got another caution. Looks like Aiden Schultz has come to grief. Let's go and have a look at that.
And this is the thing I was talking about. This is going to work so well for those drivers that didn't pit. Aiden Schultz has had a moment actually going onto the going across, and he's just caught onto one of the Simrig cars there, and big incident there for Aiden Schultz. I think it was Phil Otto, that he just got a little bit underneath there and it lost the grip on the front end. But this is the opportunity for those guys that didn't stop. They're now going to be able to get those fresh tyres. There's only been 15 laps between it, but this could be a big advantage. So those guys out there on the fresh tyres have done 20 laps now. The guys that come in for those fresh tyres are going to be on much fresher rubber for the race finish now.
That's it. It's going to be really interesting from here. It's going to see if these guys at the front can hold the guys with the fresh tyres at bay until their tyres start to plateau out.
Yeah, we've seen that, you can still run a decent pace with those tyres. Obviously, it's not as big a difference as we've seen through the night, but those fresh tyres are definitely going to make things different.
Yep, absolutely. And we've got we really have the danger guys who are coming in for those fresh tyres now. When you've got the Josh Bicklemore, JCW, Hamish Gallagher, James Robbie is in, Danny G's in for fresh rubber. This is going to really shake things up.
Yeah, this is going to make a very exciting finish to the race now. We've seen all night Jason Hardigan has had some serious pace out of that car. But he's going to have to do something special now if those guys can catch up to him. And that's a big thing, if those guys can catch up to him.
That's going to be the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the big question we got tonight now. And they've got quite a few cars between them, of course, as well. But we saw on that restart, they worked their way pretty quickly up. So the first of those guys on those fresh tyres will be JCW in 8th, I think. So pretty much similar starting positions as last time round. Similar amount of people stayed out. Similar amount of people pitted from the lead rows. You've got to say this is looking good for Joshua Carroll and Josh Micklemore at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. They are going to definitely turn it on as soon as the race starts.
Yeah, the other guy as well is Hamish Gallagher, of course. He is up there on those fresh tyres too. And we've seen Hamish Gallagher running up there all night with some very good speed. So it could be interesting to see what Hamish Gallagher has in the tank there. So as we're going to come across for lap 128 of this 150 lap race. The last race of the season, of course, well, for the regular Cup Series, that is, we do, of course, have the All-Star race coming up, and that will be shown next week on the JP Simshed Network. And that's going to be a 200-lap race at Nashville. So the All-Star race is basically, well, what it says is an All-Star race. So a lot of the drivers, any drivers that have had a win and have finished inside the top 10 of the championships are entered into that one. So it's going to make it quite interesting for that race. And obviously that's the big one where you'll get some fresh faces up there on the podium. And people really want to get that sort of All-Star race win because it can really help you for the following season.
Yeah, absolutely. And lights are out on the pace car now. It's going to be go time. Let's see what Jason Hardigan can do here for the race start. I'm sure Jason Hardigan and Ed Foster are going to be communicating trying to lock in their start maybe.
Yeah, they're going to try and get away here. Jason Hardigan backs him up a little bit. He backs him up, and when's he going to drop it? He's waiting, and he puts the foot down now. Gets a good restart there along with Foster. Foster's going to have Jason Martin on his inside. You can see Jason Hardigan going up to the high line straight away. Foster has managed to get that second place secured. Those guys are going to have to really try and check out now, try and get a good lead over those cars that are chasing. It's almost like a greyhound race at the moment. These guys are the rabbits on those little tiny poles, whereas you've got the greyhounds behind them, and those guys are going to come up quickly towards them. Foster's managed to hold on to second, but Jason Martin's putting a lot of pressure on them. Back a little bit further, you've got Lachlan Urquio, who's had a good restart there in sixth. He's managed to hold position, but Josh Micklemore has managed to get that low line working for him. There's a big moment for Stephen Williams. He gets loose through the mid-corner, manages to hold the car. Great job from Stephen Williams there, but that's really helped Josh Micklemore get ahead in that one and start closing in. Joshua Walden is there, and he's climbed his way up to fifth position now. You can see those guys closing in on the leaders right now, and it's a massive battle behind them.
Yeah, absolutely. They are on fire. They are chasing down the leaders, and it looks like they're going to get them.
Yeah, and up the front, Foster's lost the position to Jason Martin. He's come down into fourth place, to third place, which is going to be fourth, which is going to be fifth place, as Michael Skurlock takes a look. But JCW has just absolutely powered past Foster and gotten into that third position already. And you can see behind Foster there is a train of cars wanting to get past him at the moment, get past himself and Michael Skurlock.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at that. Look at the pace of JCW now. He's really turning it on. He knows that he's got those fresh tyres, but he's just got to hunt these guys down.
Yeah, he's really putting those fresh tyres to good use at the moment. Really managing to get that pace going and switched them on perfectly. This has worked out really well for those guys that didn't stop. As I said, if that caution comes out a little bit later, it's going to pay off for those guys that didn't stop, and it is paying off in spades right now. As you can see, JCW is just catching Hartigan like there is no tomorrow. He's a couple of tenths faster every lap. Hartigan was setting a 27.5 last time round. JCW was a 27.2, so much quicker on those laps. Just behind, you can also see Josh Micklemore as well, flying along with Hamish Gallagher and Danny G. Danny G's managed to get himself back into this race as well. JCW goes down the inside of the kind of corner as they go into the final set of corners. Also, JCW's got the inside. He's going to make the pass stick on Jason Hardigan. Joshua Carroll takes the lead on lap 134.
And this could actually be really fitting. JCW won the very first race of the series, and at this stage he's poised to perhaps take out the last race of the series.
I can imagine he would be very happy with that, and I'm pretty sure all the drivers will be covering up their ears on the radio channels if that does happen. JCW does tend to be quite an excitable, happy person, but he's got some tough competition behind him.
Absolutely. We might have to put the mute button on if JCW wins this, but it's not over yet. 15 laps to go, and anything can happen. And we've got Josh Micklemore now just applying the blowtorch to Jason Hardigan. Jason's not going to do anything silly. He's going to leave the door open and let Josh go, or is he?
He's trying his best to keep him in there, but he can't do much to defend it. You can see there, just behind him, Hamish Gallagher makes the move, as well as Danny G. In the span of a corner, Jason Hardigan has lost 3 positions. So he's really tried hard to keep there, but he's not.
Oh no!
And he manages to keep the car on the straight. Brilliant job there from Jason Hardigan. He just got a slight tap from Danny G there. Nothing between it, just a little bit of a paint tap there. But that was one heck of a hold from Jason Hardigan. I thought he had completely lost that one there. But really close there for Jason Hardigan. But this has helped Hamish Gallagher, who's up into third position now. He's going to be trying to chase down Joshua Carroll and Josh Micklemore.
Absolutely, and look, I really thought that was all over. Jason Hardigan just came down a little bit too much on Danny G there, and got that car sideways, and I thought that was pretty much the end of it. But awesome car control to keep the car on track and keep things moving.
Yeah, that was one heck of a save. I think that's going to be one of the saves of the year right there. Really good job from him. As it stands, as we go through the order, Foster's dropped down into 6th place now, just behind Jason Martin. So they're not dropped down too far. They're doing a good job on those older tyres, but they can't keep pace with those guys on the fresher tyres.
No, they're really struggling against the guys with the fresher tyres. But let's just go to here. Looks like Danny G is putting some pressure onto Hamish Gallagher here.
Yeah, Danny G's been quiet all night long. Qualified in 8th place and has worked his way up very well. Working together with Josh Micklemore tonight, they've been sort of working the same strategy all night long, those guys. Doing a good job at the moment to keep the cars going. Just jumping back a little bit, Jason Hardigan is really just hemorrhaging positions now. He's dropped down to 10th place, almost 11th place now. He's really lost a lot of positions from that incident, unfortunately, and that's made a big difference. As a big bump from Riley Curtis to James Robbie there, as they check up a little bit, which has given Hardigan a chance to actually get away and get underneath Bradley Allison. So those guys are fighting for position. Norman Clark's worked his way up there. Michael Skurlock sitting behind Foster, sitting behind Jason Martin. But the big battle is going to be at the front between Danny G and Hamish Gallagher. Joshua Walden has got a decent lead at the moment on lap 142 and 150.
9 laps to go. JCW has cleared out a little bit. He's a tenth of a second faster than 2nd, 3rd and 4th that last lap, so that's not too bad at all for him. What's undecided at the moment is going to be 3rd place, because actually Danny G was putting a lot of pressure on Hamish Gallagher, but he's dropped back a little bit, but looks like he's starting to come back at him though.
Yeah, he's putting the pressure on, and for Hamish Gallagher, he needs to he's just that little bit behind Jason Martin. It's a battle for 2nd place in the championship now. If Jason Martin loses a couple more positions in this race, and if Hamish Gallagher can get up one position, it's going to be very close for that 2nd place spot in the chase. As we get another caution.
And that's Jason Hardigan and James Robbie. Something's happened there. Let's go and have a look.
We'll go back and look at that one. It looks like they've just gone through. Hardigan has lost the rear. He's slid out, lost it up to the inside. Oh, big moment. And James Robbie had nowhere to go there. Jason Hardigan losing the rear end. He just clipped the apron slightly. James Robbie had nowhere to go, unfortunately, and went into the back of Hardigan there. Very unfortunate there, but yeah, it's gone from bad to worse for Jason Hardigan tonight. So Jason Hardigan just dropping down the order there, and it's gone from bad to worse for him this evening. Going from looking strong to finishing down into the 16th position at the moment for Jason Hardigan. Not good for him. This could be a bit of a blessing in disguise for some of those guys on the older tyres, though, as they're going to get a slight reprieval here, I guess. As they go to the restart again, the tyres are going to be relatively equal, so we might see a few busy people sort of being able to jostle back positions on this restart. Joshua Carroll-Walden's going to lead over Josh Micklemore. Hamish Gallagher there in 3rd and Danny G 4th. As I say, it's the real battle in the championship now is sort of the Hamish Gallagher and Jason Martin battle. So if Hamish Gallagher can finish a good couple of places ahead of Jason Martin, he might be able to sneak 2nd in the championship tonight, and that would be an absolute brilliant finish for Hamish Gallagher, who's had a career best season for sure. As we go down the field a little bit and look through the championship standings, Danny G is going to get ahead of Jason Hardigan by the looks of things and finish in the 5th slot for the championship for the chase. Stephen Williams might be a bit too far away, but Josh Micklemore might be able to get slightly there as well. So it's not yet decided, but it looks like Danny G is going to jump up into 5th place as it stands. Michael Skurlock's still sitting in a decent position, but Hamish Gallagher's the one to watch. If Hamish Gallagher can get a few more positions and Jason Martin loses a couple, this could be a really good finish for his season. Strong season from the start to the finish for Hamish Gallagher, and he's definitely one of those drivers we've got to look out for next year. Going to come back stronger next year for sure.
Absolutely, and looks like we're going to have what's this? We're going to have 3 laps to go to the end here.
Yeah, I think we're going to get green white checker for this one, or 3 laps to go. It's going to be a real fight to the finish now, and I think we're going to see a bit of a chaotic restart. In all honesty, it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now JCW had a great restart before. He held them right back for a while before he took off. Let's see what he does this time around.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And just from the comments there, thanks Roger. Just saying about Jason Hardigan, his right rear tyre would probably been blistering away there just from when he was trying to keep position from those guys on fresh tyres, and that's really the reason why that rear stepped out so much, just losing rear adhesion. This restart, of course, is going to help him cool down his tyres, so we might see Jason Hardigan climb up a few positions from here. We've seen him very fast all night. We'll have to see what he can do from here. He might be able to salvage something from tonight after all.
Yeah, he's dropped down quite a bit. He's now in 15th place, but we have seen Jason bounce back from worse than that before. But with 3 laps to go, that might be asking a little bit too much of him.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one for sure. It looks like it's going to be a big fight between Josh Mickelmore and Joshua Carroll-Walden. We've seen that inside line has had good restart capability as well, so don't count out Hamish Gallagher or Danny G from here as well. So those guys could get in good position. Jason Martin's lined up down there as well. It's going to be an interesting restart here as Joshua Carroll-Walden leads us away with a couple of laps to go. It's going to be a close one for sure. Joshua Carroll-Walden just backs everybody up and he launches the car away, gets a good restart there, manages to catch Josh Mickelmore slightly sleeping, and Josh Mickelmore might be able to get down on the inside in time, and he does. Very aggressive move from Josh Mickelmore there, getting into second place, backing Hamish Gallagher off. He's managed to snatch that position away. Danny G got a good restart as well. He might be able to get past Hamish Gallagher here as they come around the final corner, as Josh Mickelmore really starts to apply the pressure to JCW.
Yeah, he's all over the back of JCW's car here. JCW's just eked out a little bit of a lead, but Josh Mickelmore is really strong going through this section here.
He is, as the white flag comes out from the Hybrid Racing Solutions white flag lap. Joshua Carroll-Walden's sticking that lead. It looks like he might have it here. Doesn't look like there's much Josh Mickelmore can do at the moment as a car goes around in the background. But we'll keep with the leader as Joshua Carroll-Walden comes around. Josh Mickelmore tries his best to get it, but JCW takes the checkered flag, takes the win. First win of the season for Joshua Carroll-Walden. Final win of the season for Joshua Carroll-Walden. Great race for him. Brilliant comeback for Josh Mickelmore and Danny G. Hamish Gallagher finishes in 4th place with Jason Martin 5th. Edward Foster in 6th place, meaning Edward Foster has taken the Drivers' Championship for the 2020 ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup.
Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic drive from Joshua Carroll-Walden there. He won the first round of the series at Daytona, and he's been able to close the year out with a win for the final round of the series as well. Fantastic, well done.
Absolute brilliant job there. He has, as I said, last year he was a lone wolf, and we said if he gets in a team, he's one to watch out for, and this season he's proven it. Joshua Carroll-Walden taking another victory for the year. That's his 3rd victory this season. Brilliant year for JCW. Edward Foster taking his 1st championship in the ANZCAR Cup. 2 championships for Foster this year in the Nationwide Series and the ANZCAR Cup. Brilliant win for Foster in the number 53. He is going to be absolutely smashed about that one, I'm sure. And you can see them doing dual burnouts, trying to wreck the engines as best as possible. But what a brilliant win. And what a strong year as well from, for yourself, the JP Simshed team. Congratulations on your 1st season and getting a championship in the 1st one.
Absolutely amazing. Fantastic work from all of the guys in the team. They've worked hard all year long. They've worked together, and what they've achieved. What they've achieved certainly isn't luck. It's just been through hard work, and Ed definitely deserves this championship. So fantastic. I think I'm going to have to talk to him when he comes on when we bring him on for the a bit of commentary, but later on.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be happy to talk to us tonight about that one. But another strong finish for the Mitch Motorsport team as well, in second and third position. They've managed to bring the fight this season, and they brought it very well. Jason Martin will get second place in the championship, with Hamish Gallagher sitting in third position. Brilliant season for Mitch Motorsport again, very much still the favourites in the season, and they have had one heck of a strong season as well. Jason Martin with 6 finishes, Danny G with two wins. Sorry, Jason Martin with 6 wins, Danny G with 2 wins, and Josh Mickelmore with 2 wins. A lot of wins for that team, and they have had such a strong season as well. Can't take anything away from them. And brilliant finish for Hamish Gallagher there. Lone Wolf in the 13 Management Motorsport team, the only car of the team in the series, of course, and he's managed to take away third position in the championship. And what a strong season for him. He's really come to shine this year. Brilliant job from Hamish Gallagher.
Yeah, absolutely, and you certainly can't take anything away from the Mitch Motorsport guys. They took it to the JP Simshed guys the entire length of the series. This wasn't decided by any stretch of the imagination until maybe the penultimate round. It's been fantastic racing by those guys. Awesome racing by Hamish Gallagher. He's had a brilliant season as well. So yeah, well done everyone.
Yeah, he's definitely one to look out for the future as well. Hamish is one of those guys that's, this year he's been strong, but it's going to be next year, having a bit more experience under the belt. It's really going to help him out there.
Yeah, 100%. Great racing by everyone. So I guess we should probably bring up our race, our podium winners for this race.
Yes, we'll grab up the podium positions and bring them in for a bit of a chat.
Let's see if we can find them here.
Now comes the hard part of tracking down drivers after a race.
Which is
like.
Let's have a look here. No, we can't find them. So we're going to give our ears a bit of a blasting, and I guess we'll talk to tonight's race winner.
Joshua Carroll Walden, congratulations on getting a win at the start of the season and closing it out strongly with another victory. Well done tonight. How are you feeling?
Oh, yeah, guys. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. To mark the season with 2 big wins, that's fantastic. And that as well with the championship. I mean, yeah, Jason and Lachlan, they had tough races that didn't really work out, but yeah. On a whole, the team is on an absolute high. We are walking on air right now.
I can imagine. Look, it's been a very strong season for yourself. We were talking up here in the box before. Obviously, you were a bit of a lone wolf for a few seasons there, running out there on your own. How much has having a team behind you helped out this season?
Oh yeah, it's helped out massively. Yeah, we just learn so much off each other. We pick each other up. All 5 of us have had moments. Where things were looking pretty dire this year. Both off and on the track, and yeah, we've been there for each other all year, and yeah, that's yeah, it's just such a great team environment to be in, and yeah, I won the race tonight. Ed won the championship, but yeah, all 5 of us put in so much work, and yeah, we deserve everything we get.
Yeah, it's been a strong year for yourself, and as you said, the team as well. Yourself walking away with 3 victories this year as well. How are you feeling for next season? What are you feeling for next season? You're looking, obviously, with championship wise, you finished best of the rest this year, just outside of the chase. You were the winner of the non-chase championship, so to say. Obviously, going to set your focuses on getting into the chase next season.
Absolutely, but next year is shaping up to be a completely different year with the Bristol dirt race, especially. 3 new road courses coming in. Yeah, no doubt the ANZCAR League will grow some more over the summer months, and the competition itself, as a result, will take another step. So yeah, the chase is definitely the aim next year, but we're all kind of probably saying to each other right now, probably just soak this in, guys, because this isn't going to last forever. This isn't guaranteed to happen again. So yeah, we'll just make the most of it for now. We'll come back this time next week to try and finish off the year with the win in the All-Star race, and yeah, but definitely looking onwards and upwards for 21, and yeah, hopefully I can get a second straight Daytona 500 victory.
Yeah, absolutely. You've had some good luck on those super speedways this year, and well, I say luck, but a lot of skill involved in that as well. You've really done some good racing out there, and well, congratulations on a really strong season, JCW. Before we let you go, of course, who would you like to shout out for tonight?
Yeah, big shout out to Edward Foster. Finally winning the championship. Yeah, the best racer in the ANZCAR Cup all year. 5 wins, 22 top 5s, more than anyone. 29 top 10s, out of 32 odd races. That's 32, 34 races. That's absolutely incredible in terms of consistency, and yeah, just constantly being up there. So yeah, massive accolades to him. Shout out as well to Jason Hardigan. He had fantastic pace tonight, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out. Shout out to Lachlan. He's grown so much over the past 6, 8, 10 months. It's going to be fantastic to see him grow again into 21, and Norman as well. A fantastic season from him. Very big step up from his old MFR days. Yeah, he's going to be in the winner's circle sooner or later, and obviously the sponsors as well for allowing us to do what we do every week, to get these awesome results. So Abruzzi Australia, Goodyear Autocare Rana, Track Racer, VR Covers, Cars for Hope, Nationwide Tracking Systems, Racing with Autism Australia, Dragon RC, and yeah, I can't forget the big shout out to my lime green tape that everyone knows about. Yeah, I can say I've won ANZCAR Cup race with 3/4 of a wheel.
Yes, the lime green tape has really. I think that's been the secret factor for you for these final couple of races. Obviously, shaving down a bit of weight on the old Logitech steering wheel and really making the difference there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was just sitting in the shed, and yeah, it's just been fantastic. So I think I got it from Bunnings or somewhere like that. So yeah, I guess the secret for ANZCAR is to head down for Bunnings snag and also some lime green tape as well.
Lime green racing tape, the key for victory. You've heard it here first. Thank you so much, JCW. We'll catch you again.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right, let's bring down tonight's third place winner, Danny G.
Danny G for Mitch Motorsport. Congratulations on another podium finish. Very strong year for you guys. Third place tonight for yourself. How are you feeling, and how do you feel about the season overall?
Hey, fellas. Yeah, third place tonight's pretty good for me at Phoenix. It's not my funnest track. It's not my greatest track either. So to sort of actually get on the right end of a strategy call too, with taking the tyres at the end to get me into third, that was good. So I'll take a top 5 any day. And as for the season, yeah, it was great. It was long. It's probably the biggest thing I've sort of ever done online in any competition, any game or sim. And so it was a lot of fun, and I managed to get those couple of wins that I've always wanted. So that was good to do. And I don't know where I finished in the standings, maybe 6th, 7th. But it wasn't the greatest chase for me, but that's what happens.
I can let you know, actually, because you with Jason Hardigan's issues, you managed to pip him to 5th position in the championship. So top 5 finish for you this year. And as you said, 2 wins this year as well. 15 top 5 finishes and 25 top 10 finishes. You've had a very strong season.
That's not too bad at all.
It's nice when you get some good news. Yeah, like, it's been a really strong season for you guys, and we've seen that with all of you. You've really been coming along well. Obviously, teamwork's been working very well for you all. Unfortunate for Jason, he's had a bit of a rough end to the year, but you guys have all made it into the chase. I mean, that's a big deal to make all 3 of your cars to make it into the chase, and all of you to be in the top 10 of the chases. Definitely a strong achievement.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, other than the road courses, I think we've pretty much contended every single race. We pretty much do week in, week out, so it's great for the team. Yeah, it wasn't to be championship-wise, but Jace put up a good fight. It's just unfortunate sort of the circumstances surrounding him, but, you know, he'll be back next year, and we'll hopefully get it done then.
Well, that's the big thing. As when I first started commentating on the Cup, it was just Jason Martin will win everything. That was my notes given to me. And yeah, he's always been very strong. But you've really been coming along well yourself this season. We've seen it through the races, obviously with those 2 wins, and just becoming much stronger throughout the package. You've been doing a lot better this season overall. You finding everything's just clicking between you guys now? It's just you're feeling more comfortable in the car?
Yeah, I think so. I know all the tracks now, so pretty much sort of know what to do. The package changes like every few months when iRacing do the updates, but sort of sticking on top of that, I guess. Like when COVID first sort of happened, and we weren't going out drinking, and the other thing I do is play pool, so I wasn't going out playing pool. Obviously, my results were better, and that showed through the mid portion of the season. And then once we started going back out and competing in other events and hobbies, sort of my performances went down, which is what happened through the chase. And then I've got to sort of balance that out next year.
Yeah, it's all learning experience as well with that kind of thing. Obviously, it's working out, how much you can drink before driving in the chase, obviously, and how much pool you can play the night before, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, congratulations on another podium finish in the Cup Series, and also a big thank you to all the hard work you put in behind the scenes as well. Obviously, being part of the ANZCAR series, you've done an amazing job with all the series, and with the ANZCAR itself, it seems to be growing stronger and stronger.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like the 3 series that we've got at the moment, especially the trucks on Monday, I think is sort of fantastic. We got like a pretty good core group that most of them, half of them don't even sort of race the Cup series, so they're just strictly truck series, which as an admin we actually found pretty cool. And so that's going strong. And then obviously the Cup series is really good, and we'll kick off into next year and hopefully be bigger and better.
Yeah, and of course we've still got one race to go on a Thursday night, and that's the All-Star race. How are you feeling going into that one?
I have not done one lap at that track yet, so I'm gonna have to get onto that and also work out to sort of set it up, because I've got to set it up so that we have to pit for fuel at least 3 times. I think that's what I said. So I've got to go out and do some test laps and try and figure out fuel mileage and what to set the tanks to, and it should be a good fun race.
You'll have to grab the calculator out for that one. Just before I let you go, obviously on the strategy tonight for you and Josh McMorran, JCW, of course, not pitting on the second to last caution. Were you just hoping for another caution at that stage, or did you think you had the tyre life to possibly put a bit more of a fight up than you could?
Under that caution, I thought if no one pits, I'm pitting. But then a lot of the front runners pitted, so I didn't, and just hoped for the best that would get it. I'm hoping for another caution. And I was surprised that I'd sort of managed to go back to like 10th or 11th and then pit for four tyres and come out. And I was like, I only lost like 2 spots, so that was good. That sort of drove us back to the front, but definitely hoping for another yellow.
Yeah, it ended up working in your favour for sure. Congratulations on the top 5 finish in the chase. Congratulations on P3 tonight. Before we let you go, of course, any shout-outs and things like that?
Yeah, JPS and you guys for the broadcasts. Was it Bob King for the paint designs, Mitch Motorsports, Josh Jace, and a big congratulations to Edward for the championship. I know that means a massive amount to him. It's awesome, actually. And congrats to him.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danny G. I look forward to seeing you for the All-Star race, and have a good weekend off.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, fellas.
Danny G there for Mitch Motorsport. Just looking up in the booth, we will grab down the man of the moment, the winner of the 2020 Abruzzi ANZCAR Cup for the JP Simshed team, Mr. Edward Foster. Edward Foster, how are you going?
Let's see. You've been champion for 2 minutes. What does it feel like? Honestly, it's just satisfied, mate. Like it's a goal I set. Satisfaction, mate, more than anything else. I'll probably fall in a heap after this. I'm exhausted.
I was about to say, you always sound lost for words. That's something I'm not used to from you. It's been a very strong end to the season for yourself. Been a strong season all in all. You've been very consistent. 29 top 10 finishes, 22 top 5 finishes, and 5 wins, of course, towards the end of the season. Taking out 2 championships as well this year for the ANZCAR series with the Nationwide series, of course, and the big one, of course, the Cup. Obviously, you've put in a lot of work this season because you've been with a new team and getting that to work as well. So it's been a busy year for yourself.
Look, it has been. It was sort of a bit of a new adventure. You know, I've always sort of been, even in real life motorsport, the lone privateer with no money fighting against the guys who've, got all the resources and everything. So it's a slightly, and something that I was a little bit uncomfortable with in the beginning. Just sort of being part of something a lot larger and having the backing and support behind you and everything like that. So it took me a little while to actually get used to that. Of course, I was with a team before, but it was much smaller, and I guess a much more sort of tight-knit group and so on, because there were only the 3 of us there at the beginning. But now, it comes with a different type of pressure. There's expectations from other people apart from yourself. And I always used to think that no one could put more pressure on me than me. But, when you see your teammates putting in every single week to try and get you the information that you need to do well, and when you see like the rest of the wider team supporting you as well, you don't want to... The pressure then comes from not wanting to waste their time. Because if you don't go out there and deliver with all the work they're putting in and all the support they put behind you, then you've just wasted their time and wasted their effort. And that's where the pressure really came from me. And I was really, really feeling it, especially these last sort of 5 weeks. Although I tried my best not to let it on, I certainly did. We sort of went into the chase and it started out disastrously. And then after Bristol, we kind of got together and say, look, we're 25 points behind. The only way we've got a chance of winning this thing is to go out there and beat Martin every single race. And we just needed the only way that you're ahead of Martin is if you had perfect races. You got to, and we just went out there trying to deliver perfect race after perfect race after perfect race after perfect race. And it really shows that tonight, in between Bristol and the round just gone at Martinsville, my lowest finish was 2nd place. And, tonight it could have been another 2nd place if not for the fact that we had that late caution. So it's just been a really tough, exhausting, high-pressure, non-stop, hectic end to the year. And that pressure's gone now. It's done. It's finished. It's done, and we've done the job. So I'm absolutely thrilled. Couldn't be happier.
It sure beats. It's a long way away from days of working on a Ford Escort's engine, getting it working and things like that. I'm so happy for you with that victory, obviously, and I'm so happy for the work that obviously you've done with the team. I know you've been doing a lot of work this season, of course. Also, all the work you've done behind the scenes for ANZCAR, things like this. And as you say, beating Jason Martin is not an easy task. He has always been there, thereabouts, and really strong throughout the season. Just getting that position ahead. But also, of course, you had 3 cars in the chase. Three cars in the chase at the end with yourself, Jason Hardigan, and Norman Clark. So you've got to say that's a successful first season for a new team as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. We've had a great season. I forget I haven't even counted how many wins we've had, but it's been a few across the various divisions. And obviously there was a Grand National Championship, and Jason Hardigan won the NZ Thunder earlier on in the year. And, I just lost myself there. And, so it's been obviously we had the Daytona 500 as well, and JCW's bookended the year nice. He won the first and the last races of this season, so it's been fantastic for him. It's been it's been a wild ride, building something up as we've done from scratch and learning each other's strengths and weaknesses, and probably overcoming a little bit of sort of a little bit of sort of standoffishness in the beginning in terms of, admitting to each other as teammates what our weaknesses are, what we need to improve on. And as we opened up with each other, learned to work with each other, things just got better and better and better. Sort of culminated in that fantastic last run home that we saw. And it's just amazing that it worked. I mean, Carl, I've done real life motorsport for a good number of years now, only at sort of club and state level and things, and I've had a good fortune to win a couple of championships in those things. But I tell you what, none of that was as hard as this was. It wasn't even close. This was harder by a factor of at least 10. It's extremely difficult, and that's just down to the quality of the opposition. Really, just there's so many good drivers in this series. And they're so hard to beat, and these races are so difficult to win. So to come away with a cup championship is incredible.
We were just saying as well, towards the end of this race as well, we've got so many new contenders coming up there, so many new names coming in as well this season, so many people on their first year having good races and sort of getting into the chase, things like that. Competition is just building and building here. And obviously it's going to be a very different season next year as well. More road courses, dirt ovals. It's going to be a strange one for sure.
Yeah, it's looking pretty interesting, isn't it? We follow the real life calendar, of course. So, whatever they do, we're going to do, and they've put out a calendar which is quite interesting. So we're going to be running that. I've got a little bit of work to do on my road courses, definitely. ANZCAR as a whole will get to work on that over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, get all those details bedded down. And you're absolutely right. We've had a fantastic rookie class this year. It's probably the best rookie class we've ever had, as far as ANZCAR goes. And looking forward to see those guys grow and develop, and hopefully they stick with it, because a lot of people come in and they don't do so well straight away. They realise how hard it is and they don't stick with it. But there's some really promising guys there, so I hope that they stick with it. I've sort of heard little rumours and bits and pieces. Of course, people talk to me a little bit about potential new teams coming in next year, and there's a couple that are looking fairly likely to come in, and we'll be really excited to have those guys here racing with us too.
Absolutely, and I'll just let your boss have a couple of words to you as well.
Ed,
JP,
congratulations, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done for the entire team, and huge kudos to everybody that's raced this series. The racing has absolutely been impeccable for the whole series. Right up until the second last round, this was anyone's series to take. And mate, you really sort of dominated those few rounds there, and you've been able to slingshot to the head of the field, and well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, just on that, with the field that we do have and the guys that we do have who are so strong, I've got to obviously pay some sort of tribute and thank them for being as strong as they are, particularly Jason Martin, but all of them, but specifically him, for how strong he is. Because if he wasn't as strong as he is, I never would have had to find the level that I had to find to beat him. And it was something that I never knew I had. I really didn't. And if he wasn't as strong as he is, this wouldn't mean as much. If you're in the scenario to go up there and outrun the field every week, it doesn't mean as much as having to fight people, and particularly him at that sort of quality. Because when you've beaten someone of his standing who's done what he's done, it's very, very special indeed, and it means a lot more for having fought him the entire way along. So a big thanks to him as well.
100%. Yeah, well done. Well done to those guys. Well done to everybody, and congratulations to yourself. And congratulations to the way that you've taken the JP Simshed guys at the beginning of this year, and you really moulded them into a team. So and they've really done exceptionally well for themselves.
Yeah, I can't take too much credit for that. I mean, these guys are so motivated. There's nothing they won't do. They're the easiest group of guys to organise. I mean, I'm really just almost relegated to the role of some sort of coordinator and organiser more than anything else, because nothing's too much trouble. you want them to. You come down to the crunch, and you want them to do X amount to try and get us the info that we need to come out and win these races. You don't even have to ask twice; they just do it. And realistically, it's a lot of occasions they make me look good with the work that they've done and what they've put in and everything. I just sort of organise them into so we all get together at the right time. That's really all I've been doing. They've been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, look, I can't second that strongly enough. So no, well done, great year, great championship, well deserved, and bring on the All-Star race, I say.
Yeah, the All-Star race should be fun. It should be a good opportunity for people to just sort of, let their hair down and have a good old race without any kind of overarching points championship or anything on the line. They can just go out there and try and win the race. And of course, for the drivers who haven't actually qualified for it yet, of course, you qualified by making the Cup Chase or winning a race in any ANZCAR division across the year. But if you haven't made it yet, there's going to be an open race beforehand, and if you win that race, you can actually get into the All-Star proper. So it'd be nice to see quite a few guys showing up, trying to make it in, because it's certainly an honour to be able to call yourself an All-Star, whether you win or not.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. Looking forward to that one next week.
Yeah, me too.
And of course, before we let you go, champion of 2020, obviously shout outs and congratulations to people and always usual things that we ask.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I already mentioned the team, how great they've been, and of course, the my regular old sparring partners there up the front. I already mentioned those guys as well, and it's definitely genuine and heartfelt. All of that I've said already. But of course, we've got our sponsors as well. We've got Goodyear Auto Care, Warana, Cars for Hope, Abruzzi, Raceware, Nationwide Tracking Systems, Dragon RC, Track Racer, and all those guys on the car as well. It's just, it's quite a new experience to have that much, I guess, the reputation of those guys riding along with us as well. So it's, and once again, it's something that adds pressure, but it's also something that's very, very good and very much appreciated. So, we'll, come back next year and we'll try. Well, first thing we'll do is we'll try and put the Goodyear Camaro into victory lane at the All-Star. But even if we don't manage that, we'll be back firing at the Daytona 500, Daytona Speed Weeks in February. Can't wait.
Thank you so much, Edward Foster, ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup champion of 2020. We will see you at the All-Star race.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so with 10 different winners this season, it's been one heck of a season. I'll just go through the championship standings as we finished in the chase. Obviously, Edward Foster taking the win there, Jason Martin in second, Hamish Gallagher securing his third place, Michael Skurlock in fourth, fifth place taken by Danny G, Jason Hardigan dropping down to sixth place after that round, Josh Micklemore there in seventh, Stephen Williams eighth, ninth place was Norman Clark, meaning we got a free cars in the top 10 for JP Simshed as well as Mitch Motorsport. Just brilliant results there. Michael Skurlock, big shout out as well. He's had a bit of a rough season, obviously at the start of it, but managed to keep up there as well. Brad Allison finished in 10th place. His rookie season really went well in that one with 16 top 10 finishes and 2 top 5s. And Matt Punter finishing 11th in the chase. Obviously, they had equal points at the beginning of the chase rounds. But again, a big year for Matt Hunter in his first full season of the chase. And Joshua Carroll just finishing in 12th position outside of the chase itself. It's been one heck of a year, JP.
Absolutely, it's been an awesome year of racing. Look, I'm absolutely stoked to see the JP Simshed guys finishing 3 cars in the top 10. Did we say?
Yep, 3 cars in the top 10.
3 cars in the top 10. Ed Foster, 2020 ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup champion. I couldn't ask for better. Also seeing the quality of racing from everybody in this field. It's been pretty awesome. Bring on 2021, because I think the racing's going to be even closer next year.
Yeah, absolutely. 2021 is looking for a good season. And of course, as we mentioned, new road courses coming into the rotation. There's going to be some different courses, overall dirt tracks in Cup cars. That is going to be incredibly fun. We had that this year in the Truck Series, and boy, that was a very different race indeed. That's going to be something new for you, JP. But next year is going to be a big one. So stick with us, and we will see you for 2021. Obviously, next week, November 12th, is the All-Star race. As we said, 200 laps of Nashville circuit. All-Star race is going to be a fun one. People will just be able to let their hairs down and just see who can get that last victory of the year and finish off their year in good hopes. And a big thank you as well to JP Courier, for all his help and broadcasting this year as well, being able to let us actually broadcast to you. So a big thanks to him for coming on board for broadcast rights and, well, letting us see these races in brilliant quality. So a big thank you to JP.
Very welcome, Carl. And while we're thanking people, thank you for staying with us and doing the commentary. It's been fantastic. It's been great. I've been able to learn a lot of things just from listening to your commentary.
Well, you've learned a lot of wrong things, obviously.
Probably, but that's okay.
No, well, thank you so much. And we have to thank as well all our viewers. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you for the All-Star race and, of course, the ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup for 2021. Good night.
Right, we're out. Oh, I'm exhausted. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm feeling it. I feel about as emotionally drained as he does. Watching that race, it's yeah, yeah, mm, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they've done an awesome job, and it's all them, you know. I mean, I basically when I told Ed that he was running the stock car team, I just said, you're running the stock car team. I'm going to let you do what you do because you know stock car and I don't. And so it's all them. So yeah, they've done an amazing job. Viewership has been pretty good. I'll actually do a little bit of a roundup and sort of get the final viewer numbers, or get some viewer numbers coming out. But they've been pretty good. Next year I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I've got to get the guys from the ANZCAR Facebook page to let me stream to their Facebook feed. So they'll have to give me some